A few weeks ago, I decided to quit my job. I haven't done this in the past 15 years, and it's a really big decision. Especially in 2026, where AI is dominating the news and people are losing their jobs every day. So why did I still do this, and why you should think about doing the same? I will tell you now. Without going into many details, leaving my job was a combination of multiple things. The job itself, the environment, the lack of motivation, early signs of burnout, and I just couldn't keep up with the rapid changes in coding driven by AI. You could also find many reasons by yourself. But today, I don't want you to focus on the causes. I believe what's more important is the decision-making process and to learn how to recognize when you need a different direction in your career and you want to just stay ahead. I'm in the industry for 25 years and I worked for many companies, was part of a small and large teams. I worked for myself, for clients. I was an employee, contractor and a company director. The first time I was made redundant was 3 years ago in 2023, when most of us were also affected by overhiring and the economic corrections made by companies after COVID-19. Like anyone else, I was also jumping from job to job over the past decades, and only once I took some time off in the 25 years to rethink my goals and understand what I wanted to do next. Almost 10 years ago in 2017, I moved to England, and 2 years later my son was born. So I had a lot of pressure to keep things going and never slow down. Years later, the first version of ChatGPT arrived and people started to talk about AI, and AI companies started telling your managers that your work will be redundant soon. With this mental pressure, combined with the career shifts and pushing the limits at each new workplace to prove that you were a great hire and able to generate profit for the business, you can imagine how quickly this starts to build up and how it affects you, see yourself and your work. Let's talk about how you can avoid this. First, sit down and write down your expenses. This is going to be the amount what needs to be available each month to cover a roof above your head, to have heating, electricity, to feed yourself and your family. This is your budget for absolute necessary things. When I did this for the first time, I was actually surprised. It's less than half of my salary, which means technically I can save an extra month of freedom for every month I work. The next step is to start setting this money aside until you build up at least 3 months of expenses, but try to put away ideally 6 to 12 months. I know it's not easy for most of us, and let's just not go into details how unrealistic most software developer salaries are in the UK right now, but saving money for the future is the basic step of every book about finance. J.L. Collins, author of The Simple Path of Wealth, calls this the FU money. This is the money that whatever happens, like you get laid off, sacked, or just fed up with your job, you have the option to take some time off to spend with recharging, learning, while you're getting your next gig. This leads to our next step. You must understand that you are not your job. Having a job is a financial agreement between a business and you, when you sell your time and experience in exchange for money. In most jobs, you don't fully control what you work on. You cannot pick your own team and colleagues. You slowly lose control on the direction of your career. A job has become a mandatory part of your life to be able to pay your bills and collect enough money for your retirement, while you are slowly lose control and stuck in a loop of survival, responsibility and safety. Once you accept these things and make some space for yourself using the FU money, you'll gain leverage. Now let's talk about leverage. Once you're out of the cycle, just enjoy it. Take as much time as you need, but don't forget to think about your goals, your next moves. You won't need to worry about your financial safety just yet, which gives you enough strength and time to not rush yourself into bad decisions. If you think you are behind, just start to learn and catch up with topics and areas where you feel you're not strong enough. If you have a business idea you always wanted to try, this is the best time to experiment. Were you dreaming of a different career? Now you have time to explore these opportunities. Do you want to build some digital assets or creating a YouTube channel? That's the right time. And the final step. Once you get back on track and afford it, let's put the same amount of money back into your savings for another 6 to 12 months so you can do this again next time. In summary, was it a wise idea quitting my job without getting another? Probably not, considering the number of available opportunities nowadays, but sometimes you have to make hard decisions. A few advice. Today is especially important to stop and look what's happening in industry and around you. You must catch up with AI. You have to start placing bets. Where is agentic coding going? If you haven't reviewed your life goals recently, this is the perfect time. You have to understand that you might be also part of a bubble. Whatever you see is not necessarily true for everyone else. If you keep going higher and higher, you eventually lose control and you cannot step on the brake because it has no effect. Sometimes you just need to jump out of the car. It's about taking back control of your life, career, and time. You must understand the relationship between you and your job. It requires discipline, healthy amount of self-esteem, learn as much you can about yourself, your skills, recognize the gaps, and don't be afraid to make corrections, just like a normal business would do. You can either look for another job and only quit once you sign off, or just heavy FU money, whichever is more realistic in your situation. But don't forget, they will give you different leverages. The conclusion of my video is not to be afraid of making hard decisions. And if you prepare well enough, these become much simpler to do. You need to build an artificial gap between you and your job to be able to always see yourself from a higher perspective and interrupt when you need to stop the cycle. You are not your job, and don't let it own you.